So let us begin with this Pranam Mantra. Apadam apahartaram dataram sarvasampradam lokabhiramam Sri Ramam bhuyo bhuyo namamyaham. Ramaya Ramachandraya Ramabhadraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Om Sri Ramachandraya Namaha. Dear devotees and friends, this is a very happy moment to meet you all, and then read a few pages from the Ramayana. And this Ramayana that we are studying is the original Ramayana by Valmiki. So we have, in the last month we discussed that Bharata returned to Ayodhya with Sri Rama's sandal, and Sri Rama with Ma Sita and Lakshmana became the guest of the sage Atri and his Brahmavadini wife Anushuva. And we had discussed last month that it was a transition period. The Rama, after the first circle, the Rama was establishing the Dharma. He is the Avatara, he is the Vishnu, the Avatara, Vishnu himself, and he was giving the responsibility to the women folk that was also changing. Anushuva, she was representing the last batch, they were Brahmavadinis. Now this was discovered, was discovered, this religion was discovered, and then it was established. Now this time it was the responsibility of the women to follow the another type, that was the Pratibrata Dharma. Sahadharmini, Pratibrata, Sahadharmini. We had a wonderful discussion last month, and this month we will find how this Pratibrata Dharma is manifesting through Sita. Again and again it will be there, but this time wonderfully the Ma Sita will be expressing that. We will come to that. The Patibrata Sahadharmini was taking shape, and they were Anushuva and Sita had a wonderful discussion between them. Anushuva, she was having a lot of jewelries, but she was not wearing beautiful dresses, jewelries, but she was not using it. She gave it to Ma Sita and told, you should wear it. And Sita, she put on that beautiful dress given by Anushuva and also the jewelries, and then came before Sri Rama. Rama was very happy seeing his wife in that form. So this is the change coming, the symbolic way. One, giving up, practicing the austerity, and also meditating, realizing the truth, not being attracted to the worldly things. This was one type of responsibility. And second type, they were so close to the husband, always following the steps of the husband, and at the same time helping the husband to perform the duties and responsibilities which are dharma. So this dharma was manifesting through the women because it was necessary for them to develop the families. This family, the Ma Sita was doing. With this ends Ayodhya Kanda. When that is over, and that one Kanda means one chapter, we can say, it was over. Today we shall enter into Dandakaranya, that's famous Aranya is Dandaka. The Dandaka Aranya. Here the Rama is entering with the Lakshmana and Ma Sita. Rishis and Munis who used to live there with their families and students greeted Sri Rama, offered food and shelter, and next day they say to Sri Rama. Now the Aranya, that means forest, but it is not that there was no locality, no peoples to live over there. It is not like that. They were there. At the same time, we find that there is to be the forest schools, and the students were there. They used to learn a different type of subjects from the gurus, from the rishis. So, Gurukula system, then nowadays they say Gurukula system. The Kula means the family. The Guru is the head of the family, and all other students, they will go. They may be prince, they may be ordinary person, but they will all go live together, serve the Guru physically, and then they will learn from the Guru. The Gurukula system. Why? Society again. Then these young people, they used to follow the strict brahmacharya. That means the restraining the senses. They used to develop that capacity, and many different type of the knowledges they used to acquire. And afterwards, according to the choices, they could take their professions. So slowly, the human life, they were having the 4 goals to achieve, and 4 different ashramas, or the time frame was there. First, brahmacharya, that is the student's time; garhastha, the family life, householder's life; banaprastha, retirement life; preparation for the sannyasa, and finally the sannyasa. Not that they used to leave the hearth and home, all of them, but there was no attachment or attraction for the worldly things. So these 4 goals, ashramas were there, and the goals were dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. See how wonderfully it all developed. The human life at the 4 different stages, and they were developing. And who used to do that? To help them in the beginning, all the rishis. They were the teachers. They used to teach not only the spiritual thing, they were highly spiritual, they used to practice that, but they used to teach many different type of things. And we know that in the Rama also went to a guru, and then the guru afterwards he came back and he was taking the responsibility of a king, and all those things are there. So obviously not that they used to teach only the spirituality, they used to teach many other different subjects also. That was the picture of a society, human society, that was growing up in India, on Indian soil. And the students and the family members of the rishis, they were not monks, they were the rishis. They used to have their wives, their family, their children, and they used to give the training to these young people. So they offered food and shelter. O Rama, you are our king. Whether you live in forest or city, you are not. You are our protector. We have taken the promise of non-violence, and therefore cannot think of fighting with anyone. O king, we are worthy of your protection. Now, when they are saying like this, we can understand that they are reminding Sri Ramachandra his duties. Then duties also were defined. The friends, we are getting the picture that the human society in India, how it is developing. First, the responsibility of the women, that was changing from the Brahmavadini to Pratibrata Sahadharmini, and they were supporting the husband and also practicing the dharma along with their husbands. So that is Pratibrata Sahadharmini. Secondly, the human life was divided into 4 different sections: Brahmacharya, student's life; Garastha, Banaprastha; and Sannyas, the ultimate, the renunciation. Then the goal of these 4 was Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Now here, the rishis and the munis and the students and they were there, they were responsible for different work. But along with that, there were varnas. Now they were all brahmanas. And Rama is a Shatriya. So Brahmana, Shatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. These 4 varnas, the 4 different parts of the life, different sections of the life, 4 different goals, and then 4 different responsibilities. So when the students, they are coming, the rishis are coming, the teachers are coming to Sri Rama, and they knew that Rama is now living as an ascetic. He is just roaming inside the jungle, and because the 14 years he has to be in the exile, his father promised, etc. Still they are telling, you are a Kshatriya. And whether you are in the kingdom or in the forest, being a Kshatriya, you are supposed to protect us. In this way, we can understand they were very strictly maintaining these class sections also. This appeal of the rishis to Sri Rama clearly indicate the division of responsibility in ancient Indian society. Those who preferred to live the life of the seclusion and research were known as the Brahmana. They were developing the intellect, they were researching, not that constantly thinking about the God or the spirituality, as I was telling. They were researching on medicine also, and on different type of how to grow the good vegetables, and maintaining the horses, cows, every type of things they were researching and developing. And some of our philosophy also mentioning that what is dharma? What dharma is, where the both things are developing. One is spirituality, another is the worldly prosperity. So these two should balance, and then both should increase. Otherwise, imbalancing will be destroying the whole human society. So when we come to know, that is why the Ramayana is not just a story book. And that also depicts the society and how the human society is developing.
Recording
in the Satya Yuga, it was there, but in the Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. So Satya Yuga, the human society was not very much. They were a small group of people, and almost all of them, they were highly spiritual minded. But Treta Yuga, the population increased. It was necessary to make the rules and system, so we can understand in the Treta Yuga how things are taking shape in the society. Those who preferred to live in the life of seclusion and research, they were known as Brahmana. Those who were capable to use the weapons, they became the Kshatriya, the military clan. And the division of responsibility was very clear. Vaishyas were responsible for maintaining the economy, and Shudras were the working force. Rama assured the rishis, and next day, while moving through the jungle, encountered a terrible person, Rakshasa, who introduced himself as Birada. Birada was a Rakshasa. What is this? The Rakshasa. Rakshasa means a group of people, one type of people, those who were there, And we can say that they were not developing that culture. So, every society we find this different type of people. They were not cultured people. So, hence, they were known as the Rakshasa. So, these Rakshasas, they used to attack the rishis, sometimes they will attack the schools, then they will disturb their study. So, it was always there, good and bad people all the time in the society. So, it was like that. This person, he came. Now, friends, almost like that very mythological way it is presented. This Rakshasa, he came over here. His name is Birodha, and he attacked the Rama and Lakshmana. He was constantly asking them, who are you? He wanted to know the identity of these two brothers. But they were not telling, they were not disclosing. They were thinking, who is this person? Why he is asking for our identity? Then he forcefully took the Ma Sita and told, unless you disclose who are you, I am going to take this lady with me. Then the Rama started shooting the arrows, and we can imagine Rama and Lakshmana, both they started shooting the arrows, but nothing happened to that person. And Rama and Lakshmana was taken aback. What's this? Our arrows can't touch him, and even if they are touching, not doing any harm to him. What's the matter? Then again, when he asked the Birada, when he asked that you better tell who are you, then Rama told, we are the children of Dasharatha. I am Rama, and he is my brother Lakshmana, and that is my wife Sita. Then the Birada told, now I will tell you about myself. Then my mother and the father, he told the names of the mother and the father, and he told that you won't be able to kill me with any weapon because I practiced austerity, and after practicing the austerity I got the boon from the Brahma, but no weapon can do any harm to me. If you like to kill me, you have to kill without any weapon. Then he attacked these two brothers, Rama and Lakshmana. Then Rama told Lakshmana, I think he is correct. We won't be able to harm him with the weapon. Let us do the wrestling and break both the hands. They did that. They were very powerful, though young in age, but both of them were very powerful physically. So they broke the hands of that person, the Birada. Then the Birada and then told, it is better that Lakshmana, Rama told Lakshmana, you better dig a big well, and then I will put him inside and close it so that it can die. Then the Birada told, you are correct. By that way only you can kill me. O Rama, please kill me by your own hand. Rama told, but who are you? Then he disclosed that I was a celestial being. But one day I did some excess, and the Kubera became very angry with me. And we know the Kubera, the very rich god. So that Kubera became angry, and he cursed me. And he told that you will go and born as a Rakshasa in Dandakaranya and live over there. Then I fervently requested the Kubera, please tell me how I can get back my old self. I have done some mistake. Now you have given me punishment. It is okay, but tell me something so that I can again come back. Then the Kubera told, wait over there. The two brothers, the sons of the king Dasharatha, will come to that land, that place, and if the Rama touch you, then only it is possible for you to get back your old self. That is why I was waiting over here for years and years. Now that you have come, I could understand to make you angry, I should abduct the Sita so that both of you will attack me. Now my wishes are fulfilled. I am going to die and going back to my own self. So please kill me. Then after the death, he went back. But before that, this Birada told Rama, you better go to Sarabhanga. The Rishi Sarabhanga will help you. There was a great sage. See, this person, he is helping the Sri Rama because it is a big jungle. You do not know where to go. He told it is not very far, a few miles away. If you go, you will find this type of place, and that is the hermitage of the Sarabhanga. You better go to Sarabhanga. He will help you. Friends, here let us stop and think what actually happened. It is the karma phala. Now this Birada, he was a yaksha. Yaksha means a celestial being, and the king of the yakshas is Kubera. That this Kubera became angry with this person and cursed. That means the mantra Shakti, this is one thing, the power of the mantra, if somebody is using that power, he can do harm. And when I am doing something bad and immediately getting the result of it, that exactly what happened with the Birada. He became a very bad, he had to take the birth, or maybe that he himself became there the Rakshasa, living on the flesh and then living a very unhealthy life, a filthy life we can say. So this is the karma phala. Then if you are waiting with faith and getting the touch of a pure person like Sri Ramachandra, the God himself, by the touch of that, you can get the transformation. Once again, you can go back to your own self. We can remember those who have read the biography of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, we know, and there was a person who wanted to do harm to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. The Manmatha. The Manmatha was his name. He was in Bagbajar area of Calcutta. He wanted to harm because someone requested him to do that, and not knowing who is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he came to do the harm. He was a great wrestler, very powerful. People are afraid of him. But when he tried to do any harm to Sri Ramakrishna, and that particular day, usually Sri Ramakrishna comes with all the devotees, a group of devotees was always follow him. But that day it seems that he was all alone, and in a narrow path, both of them they met. When he came to do any harm to Sri Ramakrishna with his finger touched the chest of this Manmatha. And this Manmatha got completely transformed. The touch of a holy person also transformed. The holy person means the avatar. They can transform just by touching. We know the story of the Angulimala. And Angulimal, he was touched by Lord Buddha. And when the Lord Buddha touched him, the Angulimal, the cruel killer, he also got transformed completely. It is the mind that changes, and this type of great personalities, they have so much spiritual power just by touch, just by glances, and through words, they change the course of the life. Here we find the Ramachandra, he is changing the life of the Birada, and Birada passed away and went back to his celestial body. The Rama, after hearing that he mentioned about Sarabhanga and also directed the how to reach to that rishi, he went over there. And Rama, Sita and Lakshmana, they reached to the ashrama of Sarabhanga. And so Indra is sitting over there. From the distance, the way we find the Rama is approaching, and he could see that on the open veranda of a small hut, the Indra, the king of the gods, he is sitting with the Rishi Sarabhanga. Then the Rama told his brother and the wife, you better wait over here outside the ashrama. Let me go inside and see what is happening, why Lord Indra is here. So when he was going, Indra also noticed that Sri Rama is coming, then immediately told the Rishi, let me go today and I will rather meet you afterwards in Brahma Loka. And I don't like to meet and greet Sri Rama now, because he has some responsibility to perform. When he complete that, then only I will meet. So the whole thing as if all the things are set in that way. When we do something, we think that we are now newly doing something. It is nothing like that. Everything is set. And we are only going on performing as was given to us, the responsibility and all the duties, all that we are doing. So this, if we can understand, then for many difficulties and sometimes the misery, sometimes the sorrows, we can overcome. Now, these are the things that I have to do and I must do, and I try to improve myself and as per the guidance. In the Bhagavad Gita, we find when the Arjuna was denying that he should not fight and kill his own kith and kin, his all the relatives, then the Sri Krishna said, Mayai vaite nihata purvameva nimittu matra bhavasabhyasachi. All these people are already dead. I have already killed them because it is their fate that they should die. Everything is set. You only become nimitta, just for your sake, as if that you are doing it. Otherwise, everything is set. So this way, if we can understand, this is called dharma. Understanding the thing, whatever is happening, it goes on like that. Then what we should do? We should pray. We should try to be good. And by that way only, one can develop the spiritual power, spiritual liberty. Then Sarabhanga was waiting over there for the Sri Rama. When Rama went, that the old Rishi was so happy. And he told, oh Rama, I was actually waiting for you. Then the Rama asked, I saw from distance that the Indra was sitting over here. Why has he left? He could meet me. Then he said, no, Indra said that you have some duties to perform, and when you complete, then only he will meet you. But he came here to take me to Brahma Loka. You know, there are 14 lokas. Among the Hindu the system, they say there are 14 lokas. And below there are 7, above there are 7. A Brahma Loka is the highest loka. And the Rishi told, because of my austerity, I have earned that, and I am supposed to go to that highest loka, the position. After my death, Indra came to take me, my soul, to over there, not the physical body, but the soul. I told Indra, I like to meet Sri Rama. Why? Because these rishis, they knew that Sri Rama is not human, though apparently, but he is the Vishnu himself. So they wanted to see Sri Rama. In the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning a few rishis, they understood that though in the form of a human being, he is the Vishnu himself, the God himself. But they didn't disclose it at that time. And according to the language of Sri Ramakrishna, he said, O Rama, we know that you are that Param Brahma, you are that Supreme Self, but this time we will consider you as the son of the Dasharatha. So why Avatara? Even the Hanuman also could recognize him at that Supreme Self, so he was so dedicated to Sri Ramachandra. Sri Rama, he came in the form of a human being, but he was the Supreme Self. Afterwards, much afterwards, when the devotees composed about Sri Ramachandra, the Rama is a Parabrahma. That is the way they addressed him. And the Sri Ramachandra, that means the Supreme Being which is known as Brahman, can take the human form, but at that time it was not disclosed to the ordinary people, and because they won't be able to understand that. That was not the situation. Then when the Krishna came in the Krishna avatar, same Lord came in the form of Krishna, then it was disclosed, and again and again Krishna showed so much of a miraculous power, the wonderful power that he showed, so that the people can also accept, yes, if a person, a human being can do this type of work, like lifting the whole hill on his finger, he must be God. So the God can come in the human form. Then recently, in the modern time, when that Rama, that Krishna came in the form of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, there is no doubt. The people didn't ask how it is possible. At the time of Sri Krishna, lot of questions. Only few they accepted. Majority people, they had great doubt about the Sri Krishna. So now things goes in this way. The Sharabhanga told that you be here. The Rama was asking him, can you please tell me, I have to be here in this jungle for 14 years. And he was concerned because the Sita was with him. So he was telling that where we can stay and pass these 14 years. The Sharabhanga told, if you like, you can stay here in my hermitage, and or otherwise you can become a go. Place is there where you will find there another hermitage, and there one person will be there, that is the Rishi Sutikshna. He can also guide you. So one after another, and if we can close our eyes and visualize, and this is a huge jungle, wherever there is a river, there is a fruit bearing trees, and the rishis used to start their school over there, the asrama, and they knew each other, they were connected. The Sarabhanga, he told, O Rama, now it is my time to die, to go, and there is a Sutikshna. Why he said Sutikshna? When we meet Sutikshna, we will find again the same thing, that he was also preparing to go for the Brahma Loka. And these great rishis, through their austerities, they achieved that power to go to Brahma Loka. And they were giving up their bodies as if, just like the old garments, they are leaving and going away. So the Rama, the Sutikshna Rishi, you can go over there. After the Sarabhanga's passing away, Sarabhanga, before the Sri Ramachandra, he lighted a pyre, entered into that, and everyone could see that his old form, the old human body, that burnt away, and a very bright body he got, and he went from there to the Brahmaloka. After that, lot many rishis they came. I am only mentioning 3 or 4. The one name many of us we know, he is a Balakilla. Balakilla Muni, Suprakhala, Patrahara, Vaikhanasa, and many other, almost 12 great rishis, they came and met Sri Rama in the ashrama of Sarabhanga. The Sarabhanga was having all these great rishis with him. They were also teachers, they were also teaching, but as because the Sarabhanga was the leader, head, he was the most aged rishi, so he was the head of that, the whole, or you can say that locality. After the Sarabhanga, these people, they came to Sri Rama and they said to Sri Rama, O Rama, you are the king of the earth, as Indra is the king of the heaven. And this is full and perfect religion has found its permanent abode in you. This is the language that they are using. Full and perfect religion has found its abode in you. That means you are the embodiment of dharma. The religion, the dharma, what is dharma? Keeping the word is the dharma. Keeping the promises is the dharma. Again and again, when we read the Ramayana, we find that Sri Ramachandra, he is teaching us this. The Rama never said, you better go and meditate, you do this yoga, that yoga. No. He only practiced in his own life, and sometimes he said, keeping the promises, the words, and whatever the responsibility that you are having to perform that, your dharma. Here the rishis, they are giving that status to Sri Rama, and yet they are telling, you are full and perfect religion. Forgive us if our appeal disturb you, O Rama. You are aware that if the king, now this is very interesting. They are mentioning about the responsibility of the king and how the king should behave. You are aware that if the king who receives 1/6 of the people's income, that means taxes, in those days also it was there. The people used to pay 1/6 of their income to the king, so that the king will protect them, just like our modern day society. And after receiving the 1/6 of the people's income, does not protect his subjects, incur great sin. So these are the king's duty, king's responsibility. And this king who was there, that is Sri Ramachandra is also the king, and his father Dasharatha. So it incur great sin. O Rama, you also know, if the king serves his subject properly, reaps great fame on the earth, and also attain Brahma Loka after death. Just now we came to know the Brahma Loka is the highest position, and after that mukti, they go beyond that. That Brahma Loka a king can reach just by performing his duties, that is to protect the subjects properly. He need not to practice meditation and anything else, just by performing his duties. Friends, these are the things we should learn from the Ramayana. The story, when we read, it is very fascinating story, and when we see the movie, that we are also very much happy by saying. But actual thing is this, how the society, human society was growing up, and what are true the way to perform religion. When the rishis, those who have decided to practice in austerity and live in a secluded place, and then only thinking about the betterment of the society, and they have taken the vow of non-violence and same-sightedness, they are a complete different group, and their responsibility only to concentrate to develop the human life, and that is called dharma. Here another group, the Shatrias, their responsibility not to practice meditation, not to go into secluded place and read the scripture. No, their responsibility is, as long as they are Shatriya, performing the active Shatriya life and becoming the kings, they should protect this and serve the subject. Moreover, they are getting the money, the wealth, 1/6 of the income of each and every one. So obviously it is their moral responsibility. So he is telling, the rishis are telling, and rishis means, as I mentioned, the Balakilyas, they are all the very, very famous rishis. If, O Rama, you also know, if the king serve his subjects properly, reaps great fame on the earth and also attain Brahmaloka after death. A kind and just king receives 1/4 of the religious merit that is acquired by the holy people, saints and sages. This is very interesting. The kings who is protecting and maintaining the balance, he will receive whatever the tapasya, whatever the austerity these holy people are doing. And I am telling you holy people because we can understand they are completely different and they live a complete different life. Or whatever the austerity they are practicing, that 1/4 of their austerity obviously will go to the king who is protecting them. O Rama, you are the Lord of this land and we fully depend on you for our protection, who are living on the banks of Mandakini and Pamaleka. Please save us. Then Rama got this appeal from the rishis. Then this courteous and gentle Sri Rama then replied, O sages, you need not to request me, please order me, and I shall do my best. Rama, he could say, see, I am not a king now. I had to leave the kingdom. I am here, come here only to spend some 14 years in the forest because I am in exile. I am not supposed to do my duty. He never said that. Rather, immediately he understood as a Kshatriya, wherever he is, people are expecting this type of thing. Now, suppose a doctor, he is on vacation and something happened when he was there in a hotel, and if there is a call that if any doctor is present here in this hotel, can he please come? Oh no, I am a doctor of course, but I won't do any duty because I am on vacation. He cannot say that and he should not. Even we have seen that the doctors are responding immediately in the flight. In the flight sometimes there will be an announcement, the passengers having some problem, if there is any doctor please come and help us. I have seen 2-3 doctors immediately they rose and then went over there and helped the person, though the medicine was not there, still whatever is possible for them they did. And they never said, well, we have purchased a ticket in the flight and we are going, why we should work for this person? No, that is the dharma. Whatever the responsibility that you have accepted, it is your dharma, it is your responsibility, and that is religion. So religion, we are getting a wonderful definition of the religion, that is performing one's own duty perfectly. When the Rama, a Kshatriya, though he is in exile, even then the rishis, they are telling him that, reminding him that it is your responsibility to protect me, protect us. Rama said, well, I will do that. Sri Rama then, as Sharabanga Muni advised him, proceeded to the hermitage of Shutikshna. Seeing Sri Rama, Shutikshna became very happy and said, O Rama, how eagerly I was waiting for you. So why? Because they knew, these people, they developed, they knew, though apparently Rama is a human form, but he is God. My time in this life is over. Now I can happily leave my body. Muni asked Sri Rama to stay in his hermitage, but Sri Rama humbly declined. And he said, I'd rather go to other places. Please tell me where I should go. Next morning, Sri Rama, Sita and Lakshmana began their journey. Now here, friends, the one wonderful conversation between Sri Sita and Rama. Now, the Sita, she is the wife of Sri Rama. Sita heard how the rishis are appealing to Sri Rama for protection, and Rama is also giving his word that I will protect. At that time, over there, she didn't say anything, and she is not supposed to. But when they are once again started their journey, and there was no one except Ram, Lakshman and Sita, then Sita is telling. And we can understand how educated Sita was. She also knew what is dharma, what is the righteousness, and what are the difficulties of a spiritual life. Everything. And she is telling, and telling with very humbly, she is telling, O Arya. In those days, they used to call, the wives used to call the husband as the Aryan, Arya, and with a great respect. And sometimes we find that nowadays in the modern society, when they are studying somewhere, they become friends, and then afterwards they started loving each other and become the husband-wife, all this. Now, this is the problem. Then here it says, and the Sri Arya. Arya means, O noble soul. And that way, they are giving that the hint that you are a noble soul, and both husband and wife should have respect for each other. Love deepens, and love really takes place when both are having, husband and wife, both are having respect for each other. We have seen the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and Ma Sharadamani Devi. They were married, but there is no other conjugal relations between them, but a great respect for each other. Sri Ramakrishna was almost 22 years elder than Ma Sharadamani Devi, but he was also having respect for the mother. Whatever that is a different discussion. I am not entering into it. Time is short, but we have seen that. Here also, I will just mention this, and we conclude today's this Ramayana part. That here the Sita is telling, O Arya, you are aware that the virtue can be acquired by giving up all low desires. And one should be careful of three kinds of sins. Papa. What that? Falsehood. Second, adultery. Third, anger without provocation. First is falsehood. When we are practicing spirituality, trying to become religious person, trying to get the blessings of God, the first thing that we should try not to tell the lies. And you know, the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and his life's motto is nothing but the truthfulness. One should be truthful. So when you think about the spiritual life, we always think that something that from the sky, something will come like this, that. They're all useless. Here we have to understand it is the development of our character. So how it is? The first is truthfulness. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, those who are holding the truth, they will realize God. Shatya ke dhore thaka. They have to holding the truth. The Ma Sita said that first is falsehood. If anyone is telling false and lying, then he incurs sin. Second is adultery. And third, anger without provocation. Then she will explain it. O Lord, you are free from the first two types of sins. She is telling to Sri Ramachandra, Rama, her husband. And Sita knew, but still, as a wife, she is telling. And why? Because she heard that the rishis are approaching Sri Rama, and she was afraid Rama will take up the fight with the Rakshasas without any cause. Rakshasas are not harming him. So she is telling, but I am afraid you may commit the third type of sin by killing Rakshasas without any offenses. Rakshasas are not harming Sri Rama. So why the Rama should kill them? So that is our question. O Lord, are the rishis and munis not capable to protect themselves? They are, for sure. Then why should you kill them who have not, to those who have done any harm to you? Sita, we can understand as a wife concerned about Rama. And she was eager that somehow we have to spend the 14 years in exile. And why should we pick up all these things? Rather, in some Muni's ashrama, we should be quietly living. Then after the 14 years, let us go back. So she is reminding Sri Rama that one should not kill or do any harm to someone who has not done any harm. It is a sin. And one should not kill also those who has no power to protect. That's why when the people are torturing the women or the children, they commit more sin because they cannot protect themselves. They are particularly the children. So one should not do it. O Lord, I am not giving you any advice, but humbly remind you of this sinful act out of deep love and great regard for you. It is not proper to kill any creature unless it does any harm. So this is the dharma that one should do. O Lord, in this forest, let us live the life of a hermit. After returning to Ayodhya, you may please resume to duties of a Shatriya king. The Shatrias, they are supposed to protect and all. So we can feel then how the Sita is thinking, why if the Rama is doing, Lakshmana will follow just as a shadow. And if these two brothers are engaged in fighting, the Sita is wondering what will happen to them. The Rakshasas will also attack and this thing will do. So Sita is telling. Now we will conclude by listening to Rama's answer to Sita. Sri Rama responded which are worthy of a king, and king's responsibility and king's duty, king's dharma. Though Rama at that moment was not a king, but he belonged to that Kshatriya clan, Kshatriya group. So he is talking perfectly. He is mentioning, O dear Sita, you have justly explained the dharma of a Kshatriya out of love for me. Rama understood why Sita is telling like that, because she is worried about if anything wrong happened to Sri Rama. But Rama is confident about his power. He is not egoistic, but he is confident about his power. So he is telling, I can understand. When someone in distress and call for help, it is the duty of a Kshatriya to protect them. Kshatriya means those who are in the administration. Kshatriya doesn't mean only the military clan. The administrators are also. And nowadays, the president, the prime minister, and the ministers, those who are in the administration, they are all Shatrias. And it is their responsibility to perform the Shatriya dharma. And Shatriya dharma is only one dharma, is to protect the people. When they are in distress, when they call for help, it is these Shatriyas, they should go and protect them. Why? As we have already heard, the Munis, they are mentioning, O Rama, you are getting 1/6. That means the administration, they are getting 1/6 of the income of each and every one. Moreover, if you are truly protecting and performing your duty, you will be receiving 1/4 of all the austerities of all the rishis, all the good people, spiritual people, wherever they are performing, whatever they are performing, automatically it will be going to you. This is the dharma. You just perform your own duty, that will be sufficient. Rama is telling that when someone in distress and call for help, it is the duty of a Kshatriya to protect them. In this Dandakaranya, asset Raksh, of course they can protect themselves, they have that power. But Rama is mentioning, they have taken the vow of non-violence. Hence, though able, will not harm these evil souls, though they will be only receiving all the punishments, all the tortures, but they won't do anything because they have taken the vow of non-violence. The sannyasis are not supposed to, or the religious people are not supposed to harm others because they have taken the vow of same-sightedness, vow of non-violence. So they should not. It is my responsibility, and I have given my word. I must protect them by destroying the wickeds. So this is the king's duty. And after that, Rama added one more line. He said, O Sita, for performing my responsibility, if I have to give up you and Lakshmana, I won't mind to do that. I will never hesitate to do that. That means a Shatriya, an administrator, a king, will be ready to even to sacrifice his own family for the sake of the subjects. That this is the great teaching that we learn from the Ramayana today. Thank you, friends. Now, if there are any question, or we will say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Is there any question? Devika, Sarda. Any question? Okay, I think now let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. जय श्री रामचंद्र जी की जय।